Thank you. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, everyone. It's great to be here today. It's not a joke, but I do have an affirmation. I have these daily reads that come out every day on my computer. They send a little note, and it said, the affirmation, it says, "Dear me," and again, this is for everyone, for our topic this month. "I am learning that the life I want will require me to let go of the life I have outgrown. Growth can feel uncomfortable, but I trust myself enough to keep moving forward. I no longer need to cling to what is familiar when I know I am being called towards something greater. My future deserves my courage more than my fears deserve my attention." And I'm learning that lately, when I, going into ministry, it's so funny because I love challenging myself. I love setting that next goal. And, you want to know where your fears are. Sometimes you think and you can't think of them. Well, set a goal, And I had ministry there, and I thought, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. Well, outgrew three big, I'm too old, who am I to be a minister? And what's the other one? And time. Do I have enough time, And I've learned now to make God bigger than my fears. My fears are there, but I just remember how powerful God has overcome, and I can do it. I can do it just one day at a time. I keep saying just one day at a time. Do what's in front of me, do the homework, go to work, do something, go to sleep, and wake up and do. And then one day, I tell you, next June, I'm going to be up here, and he's going to be handing me my licensing. So I have witnesses here, so just support me as I go through. Plus, my mother passed away this week, and I don't know if everybody heard, but so it's been an emotional roller coaster of a week. And Reverend Pat graciously, a couple times, you sure you can do it? Are you sure you can do the talk this week? And what I felt is I love being on this platform. It just gives me an opportunity to be so authentic and to be real. And I'm not afraid of my feelings that when I'm up here. And somewhere after 2 or 3 days when I realized, the first feeling I felt was being very untethered, without my mother. It's weird, like not having a mom. Even though she had dementia, she was still there, But I felt untethered. And then somewhere, all of a sudden, I think I was laying down meditating, I felt her in my heart. And I just realized that she just landed, I really feel her here. And I'm excited to be able to be on this platform with her here. She really didn't get to live she loved her family, but she wanted to get out there. I think she wanted to be in entertainment, somewhere. I was always fascinated by that. She loved Broadway and so forth, so I can be up here talking through her, and that's what I feel like I'm doing. This month is a new topic, it's discovering the more in me, the deeper truths in us. And we're going to cover 3 questions. Where am I? Where have I been? And where am I going? So those are the 3 topics. Today we're going to do where am I? And we're going to look at releasing the old, releasing whatever's been holding us back, or just looking at where we are right now. Discovering the divinity within us. So again, we're all worthy right now. We all have that divinity within us right now, but we do have some stuff sometimes on top of it. The old beliefs, the anxieties, the fears, and it gets a little clouded, but that worthiness is right here and ready for us to receive. And then taking that divinity and moving out into our authentic life. When I came here to Unity after about a year, I remember just having this thought wow, what kind of places they want you to be your most authentic self, be prosperous, be abundant, and they're not really asking for anything in return. It felt really amazing because I was on this path of really discovering who am I. And I have been uncovering layers of authenticity. And let me tell you, I am grateful for my parents right from the start who always said, do what you love to do. Do what you love to do. Otherwise, it's not going to feel like work. And I can say I never worked a day in my life in my jobs. And it doesn't matter the job. I worked in a supermarket for the first 20 years. Thank you, Mom, for saying that's okay to do that as my, for who wants their parents, you hear, I want to be a checker. And they're like, okay, But you know what? I was the best damn checker. I was. And a bookkeeper. And I was manager of 2 departments and floral department. I mean, I conquered that supermarket. And the best thing is, you can work in a job or you can work in your job with a heart. And that is such a difference. Massage, you can be a massage therapist with just muscle, but you can add heart, and it's a whole different job. And all my life, I always felt like I was just doing what I loved. And this series is going to uncover so that we can move from that place and do whatever we want to do from a place of love and from the place in our heart. Reverend Pat had a scripture that went along with this topic, and I looked it up metaphysically. I love looking up these scriptures metaphysically. So it was from the book of Exodus, Exodus 3, when Moses encounters the burning bush. God tells him, take off your sandals, for the place where you're standing is holy ground. This is a simple action with layered meaning, both practical and symbolic. In the ancient Near Eastern world, removing sandals was a common way to show humility and honor in a sacred place. Just as people today might remove hats or lower their voices in a sanctuary, taking off sandals was a physical acknowledgement. I recognize that this moment is sacred. Sandals carry dust from the journey, symbolizing everyday life, concerns, and distractions. Removing those sandals represents leaving behind the dust of ordinary thinking, stepping into higher awareness, becoming present to the divine encounter. From a unity or metaphysical perspective, this can mean releasing limiting beliefs or ego-based thinking before entering into spiritual awareness. Grounded directly in the holy without sandals, Moses' feet touch the ground directly, and this suggests immediate connection with the sacred. No barriers between the human and the divine, a reminder that the earth itself can be holy. It's not just the bush that is sacred, it's the whole moment, the whole place. A moment of transformation, this command marks a turning point. Moses is no longer just a shepherd. He is being called into purpose, and taking off those sandals is like stepping across a threshold from ordinary life to a sacred calling, and from uncertainty to a divine mission. Let go of what you've been carrying. Release what separates you from the awareness of the sacred. Stand fully present, open and receptive, because right where you are is holy ground. And that's kind of just like what I was talking about, moving into your divine purpose, whatever that is. It doesn't even have to be work. It could be a volunteer job. So the first thing, where am I? This is a great question to just check in with yourself every once in a while and ask that question. And I suggest meditating on that question and just journal. Journal for 5-10 minutes with curiosity and not judgment. Just curiosity. I like this right now in my life. I love this, my health, my personal life, wherever, my career. And write out, really, does everything, write out the good, the place maybe you don't feel great about, just write it all out. And then you have a map. We have a map of what we can look at. Because remember, the principles, I see actually all 5 principles here, but principle 3, thoughts, feelings, images held in our mind produce after our kind. So we start to notice that we're responsible for how we see the world out there. Not for what's happening out there, but how we see it. If we see it through judgment and fears, it's going to look a lot different than someone who's looking at it from God, from that place of there's good. There's something that's good in there. Again, doesn't mean I'm not going to do anything from that place of God, but it means I can be relaxed, I can listen to the wisdom, and then know what is mine to do and do what I need to do. But I don't have to be anxious and feel really fearful. So again, this is a great time to look at our beliefs that are in the way, that are blocking us from that place of spirit. The physical environment. So the first thing in our prosperity classes, which we are PS having one next month in July, we're doing a new prosperity class, Unapologetic Manifestation, and I'll be teaching that on Wednesday nights, a little plug. And one of the things in our prosperity class is they talk about first cleaning the environment. So we're still in spring, so it still counts. You can do spring cleaning. Go to the car. No, there's some good stuff in the car, in the trunk, back seat. Go into those drawers, the kitchen drawers, the junk drawer, really start pulling out all the stuff we don't need. Creating space. It's creating a vacuum. So you take out all the stuff, furniture, and again, you don't have to throw it out. We recycle it, we give it away, whatever you want to do with it. And it's creating a space of what we really want right now. Open, we create space if you want to fill it, or you want to maybe just keep the space, keep that, space clean. And then we start to look at those beliefs and feelings and so forth that we don't want. And that's where our affirmations and denials come in handy. If you don't know much about the affirmations and denials, Lessons in Truth, our book by L.U.T, has a great section in there for our affirmations and denials. But in short, denials, taking that belief, I can see I'm not worthy, to be a minister. And I can take that belief, and we use the power of release, and we say, I release that power from I release the belief of unworthiness. I release that from my consciousness, and I'm going to replace it. So I think of it as a weed. I'm going to pull it out of my consciousness, and I'm going to replace it with an affirmation. And an affirmation, it's not just a positive statement. It's an affirmation of truth, capital T, truth. And the truth is, I am capable. I am worthy of being a minister. I am worthy. I have done the work. And I am worthy to stand here and accept that. I got to say that loud. I got to say that louder than my fear. And I have to remember. L.U.T talks about in that book, Lessons in Truth, we have the individual part of us, the individuality, which is the God part. We have the personality, which is more of the mortal mind. And a lot of time, that's the part that changes and so forth. She says to expand. The more we expand that part of individuality of us, the personality gets smaller. I want my personality, because that's what makes me, me. But I want my personality to be smaller. I don't know if that sounds right, but being God, I wanted to follow in service to God, The next thing, forgiveness. Oh boy, you knew she was going to say that. The forgiveness work, doing our forgiveness work. Again, forgiveness work is for us. It doesn't mean we're going to go out there and have to forgive or talk to that person that we don't want to talk to. People, places, and things. Having a list of ones that are pretty easy to do, and then the ones, I love this column that I learned about, the ones that you're willing to be willing to do. So they're kind of on the back burner, but you're willing to look at them and find another way. But again, doing this forgiveness work clears the energy so that more of that individuality part of us comes up. I talked about that we're working on all three principles, 3, 4, and 5. 4, prayer and meditation, essential for doing this work. Listening to the divine within. I wanted to read something I have the Lessons in Truth. I've been going through that. And there is something here she writes about meditation. Every man must take time daily for the quiet meditation. In daily meditation lies the secret of power. No one can grow in either spiritual knowledge or power without it. Practice the presence of God just as you would practice music. Daily meditation alone with God focuses the divine presence within us and brings it to our consciousness. And it is the only way in which you will ever gain definite knowledge, true wisdom, newness of experience, steadiness of purpose, power to meet the unknown, which must come up in daily life. Doing is secondary to being. Again, we have to actually do this. That's our fifth principle. These things are great to read, but if we're not actually taking time every day, making a commitment to looking at our beliefs, to doing the forgiveness work, it really doesn't work. I hate to say that, but you actually have to do the work in order for it to start to uncover and to feel that presence and power within. So we go apart into the stillness of the divine presence that we may come forth into the world of everyday life with new inspiration, increased courage, and the power for activity and for overcoming. This is the place in meditation is where we start to co-create with God. This is where we can hear where we're supposed to be going next. And I know this path for me going into ministry. I was like, really? I really feel comfortable now, comfortable. I feel comfortable. So now this is going to bring up some new stuff for me to grow through, which I do love to do. I do love to grow. I find it, David Owen Ritz calls it, it's a feeling of aliveness. And oh yeah, I feel alive, when I have to do things that I'm not used to doing, So it'll challenge me in a good way. The last thing, I think I have something on here. So let's see. There's a quote here. I just want to end on two quotes here. One quote I saw, which is great for forgiveness. In healing, we walk circles, returning to the old ground with a new way of seeing. When you keep going back, when we're on this spiritual path, I remember looking at my parents thinking, oh, they were the worst, they did this. And the more I'm on this spiritual path, I'm like, they were amazing. Wow, how did they do that? And now I look at them and I'm just amazed at what they did. And I do believe it's so worth it when we do our spiritual work and work on our beliefs and forgiveness, because when we look back now, which is going to be next week, that's a little clue. When we look back, we can see it with different eyes. We see it with the eyes of God, and we just see things differently. Homework is to do that, if you so choose to do, is to do that journaling exercise. Just again, write everything out. See where you are. Maybe you're totally happy where you are right now, and that's perfect too. Or is there something, and if you can't think of any beliefs, I dare you to put a goal up there, because little things will pop up, I tell you. And then we'll leave you with this quote. I honor where I am right now. This moment is the starting point of my becoming. And again, there's nothing like becoming or doing it with the divine through you. Your work will not feel like work. Amen.